Today my presentation is about data warehousing and data mining and a research model for health informatics in this respect. First, I'll go through the motivation of developing such a research model and what the technologies are involved, data warehousing and data mining. And then I'll explain some of the challenges that are present in these problems and some future work. So usually how do we conduct research in health informatics? We take a bunch of data, we extract some patterns. The way we do this is we organize the data and then we try to analyze it. So the research model would be something like this, having a problem, and then the data preparation, so meaning organizing and gathering the data, an analysis system, and then you analyze and interpret the results, and you adjust the problem statement as needed, and you repeat your experiments. In terms of health informatics, the data is so enormous that traditional database cannot handle it. So that's why we introduce data warehouses. They are basically derived from traditional databases, organized in such a way that you can do online analytical processing, or OLAP. Data warehouses can basically hold any data type that is present in health informatics, so quantitative, qualitative, and there are also other data types that are of concern, which I'll explain later. So who would use such a data warehouse? Epidemiologists, they would be looking at the population and trying to find trends. Insurance, people want to assess the risk of this person and giving them such a premium. And even yourself, let's say you want to find out if you are at risk of, say, diabetes. Possibly it's something that is hereditary or alike. So you would take a data warehouse containing your family history, your family members' medical history, and possibly you would be able to find if you're at risk yourself. So this is a structure of a data warehouse. So you have data sources. They're extracted, transformed, loaded, refreshed into a data warehouse. And this step is automatic, but it's done at set intervals. So it's not real time from these databases. And you have OLAP servers that queries the data warehouses. So up till this point, we've only discussed up to the OLAP engine. What we need is front-end tools. Just from the data warehouse, it's hard to understand what the data means. So some of the challenges of constructing data warehouses for health informatics, and basically for many applications, are there are a huge amount of data. How do we organize it such that we can do online processing? That's a very difficult thing to do. The quality of the data is also very important. And also, as I talked about, there will be discussion on the types of data. So we move on to the analysis system. We use something called data mining. Actually, the previous presentations have gone through some of the aspects of data mining. You're trying to mine knowledge from large amounts of data. This first appeared in artificial intelligence and machine learning. So most of the research have been done in these two areas, but not in the application areas. So here are some resources. Data mining itself is a pretty young discipline over the last 5 to 7 years. It's grown tremendously. There are 3 basic methodologies of data mining. The first is cluster analysis. You're trying to group samples into different clusters such that each cluster contains similar samples. But what you're not doing is you're not characterizing the samples in the cluster. If you want to do that, then you use the classification and prediction. What that is it's a system that takes some training data, and it learns from it. It learns knowledge from it. And it tries to predict based on such and such attribute and put them into categorical classes derived from cluster analysis. Lastly, there's association mining. This one is different from classification in that you're trying to find relationship between attributes themselves instead of attributes with its category, with the sample's category. Applications in cluster analysis include something like identifying different risk level of health insurance policyholders, grouping population at different levels of risk for lung cancer and similar things. There are quite a few approaches. These are all developed in artificial intelligence and machine learning. So I won't go through in detail what these are, but they are there. It's pretty well developed. For classification, the primary use is to interpret the results of the cluster analysis, because cluster analysis does not give you the properties of a cluster. And it can also be used to assist in diagnostic applications. It's not developed enough yet to be put in use. Most diagnostic applications currently, like decision support systems, do not use classification fully yet because of the limitations in the amount of data that you have, the amount of samples that you can train your system with, and such. There are quite a few approaches for classification: decision tree, Bayesian classifier, neural network, and these names may be familiar to those of you who are in artificial intelligence. They're all developed there, and now it's being applied in health informatics. For association mining, an example would be if you have a database of a clinical trial. Some people took aspirin, some people didn't. And you have recorded if the person has a reduced headache after such a time period. Then you would characterize how good this implication is. Does this mean anything? So first you try to take a percentage, the percentage of people who took aspirin, that's the support rate, and of these samples, how many people had a reduced headache? And that's the confidence rate. So that means how good this rule is. How confident are you that this rule is actually meaningful? There are less approaches to association mining. The a priori algorithm, frequent pattern tree, and progressive refinement is not as developed as the other two areas because this is less useful in AI and machine learning. So as I said, the theoretical background of data mining is in AI and machine learning currently. So if AI didn't do this, then we don't have much on these topics currently. Okay, so what are some of the challenges for data warehousing and data mining for health informatics? The data has lots of noise, and the data may not be correct. It may be redundant. So we need to clean that up during the data warehousing part. One topic that has not been covered well is data mining using data over time. So mining data that is taken at different times, like different years. And this is different from saying a temporal database or temporal analysis because you're trying to mine the data, you're trying to use past data to reinforce what you're trying to learn with the present data. Another challenge is the experiments must be repeated many times on many different data, many sizes of data, before you can say your results are meaningful. Just because, such as association mining, what you have is you have rules that may not make any sense. It may just be a coincidence that that rule has a good confidence rate. Another research area that has been done is natural language processing, just because of the narrative data that's in like a doctor's diagnosis and such, and extracting that into a data warehouse and making it available for data mining is difficult, because currently most of the work is done for querying a database, and like after you extract the information, you're querying the database only. You're not mining information from the data. Another area that not much work has been done in terms of data mining is taking care of all the types of data in health informatics. The first few are okay, the patient history, laboratory test results and such. But for some laboratory test results like CAT scan, X-rays, it's very difficult to mine these data in its raw form. You need some pre-processing. And of course, you can't do these by hand because there are just too many, and it's not accurate. So intelligent systems must be developed, and actually some have been developed. But the reason that this still is a challenge is that generating the data from these diagrams or graphs increases the size of the data warehouse immensely, just because there are so many characteristics. So it may be possible to mine from the raw data itself. So that's an area that research is being done. Here are some other issues, not only in health informatics. The main thing here is the ethical use. People want to know what data are being collected about them and how it's being used. And for medical history or your diagnosis and such, they don't necessarily want this information to be known to others. So some form of privacy must be developed and put in place. So the research model expands into this. You have gathering data and consolidating the data. And this data must be from a broad source. There must be a lot before your system can have meaningful results. So this is a very difficult part. Building the data warehouse, we have that. Classification and clustering are well developed from AI. We still need some work to be done on the association. So in conclusion, I would like to say that data warehouse is well established for health informatics. There's still some work to be done for the data types, the different data types. Data mining is still a young discipline, and even more so for HI, just because of the different challenges I mentioned. Future work to be done in AI, in health informatics. Improving the quality and availability of the data. Right now, there's no single or small number of sources that you can get your data from. If we can put all of that data into a central repository, then it's easier for people to do research and be more productive. For a time series data warehouse and data mining, not much work has been done. Mining temporal database, mining spatial database, yes, that's been done. That's being developed. There's work being done. But not in terms of getting more information by considering information from the past. So consolidating what you know by using past trends. Another area is visualization and user interfaces for data mining systems. Because the data has grown to be so large, your system is only as good as what it can communicate to the user. It's very difficult to represent the results of the data mining techniques that I discussed. Like for association, you have rules. You have millions of rules. How do you get the meaningful ones out easily? For classification, you might have a decision tree. It may be so large that you cannot get anything useful from it. So more work needs to be done here, and actually recently there have been quite a few systems, data mining systems, that have been developed that can do very good visualization for health informatics data. So, any questions?
Questions or comments?
Yes.
Like about the classification clustering problems, as we know that in the artificial intelligence area, those problems are very hard and even NP hard. So as for the approaches you mentioned that try to address problems, are they heuristics, approximation problems, algorithms, or is that theoretical analysis?
Both of it is based on information theory and mathematical models. They are approximation algorithms or heuristics. There are exact algorithms, but, well, not in terms of its model, it's exact, but in terms of data, you can never be exact, right? But those algorithms are mostly exponential just because the problems in those areas are NP hard.
As you just said, in terms of the data, they cannot be exact. I think that's like because you could never test all data.
Yeah, exactly.
So how could you estimate the consistency between the training sample and the real data?
For mathematical models, that's basically built into the mathematical model saying how good is the approximation. For information theory-based, like decision trees, they use something called the information gain and the entropy of your, say you're trying to create a decision tree, you would be trying to divide some attribute first at the root, then you can estimate how good this will be, how much information is gained from this.
So is that just the estimation or theoretical proof?
It's theoretical. So any other questions?
What's the issue with regard to mining databases where you've got mining through time? One of the issues. What's the challenge there?
Well, because the importance of data changes over time. Like if you have some data from 1997, it might not be as useful as the data from 2000. If you conduct a study on just the data for 2000, you might get some result. If you consolidate it with past years and reduce the importance of those data, then you might be able to see a flaw or improve your model, improve your results.
Let's assume we don't reduce the importance of the data. We're doing a 5-year trial with quality control throughout, consistent.
Well, that's not what I'm talking about exactly. If you have a 5-year trial, then that year is an attribute of the database.
Right.
But if I'm saying that I have a database that's recorded in 2001, and I do a study on it, then how can I show that this result is actually correct, or how can I improve my results? So we take data from the past and see how well it fits into this, and if it's evolved from the past models. So for all data mining applications currently, you're mining the attributes themselves. You're mining the database itself. But you're not mining when the database are recorded and what importance the database have.
I'm not sure why you can't do that, though. That's what I'm trying to.
Well, it's not that you can't.
I'm just working with Manulife in this area, and they're looking at patterns between like 2 years ago, a year ago, and now, and looking at that as one way of determining, for example, fraud that would occur.
Well, mining in a broad sense, like just about any data, this hasn't been done much. Maybe in specific cases it's been done, but overall in most research that uses data mining for health informatics, it's not been done. Just because, remember I said your experiments have to be repeated quite a few times before you can say your results are meaningful, just because of the large amount of data and the amount of noise in it. I'm trying to determine if using past databases can have an effect on how good your results are, and reducing the cost and reducing the life cycle of your research and experiment.
I'll look to your final submission to get that clarified.
Okay.
It's not clear to me. Other questions, or? Yeah, okay.
Therefore, kind of question I want to ask is, you mentioned classification and clustering, some kind of problems. So related problems, something like scoring and ranking, so are those problems also a part of the review?
Scoring and ranking would be something that you can do. It might, you can,
Kind of like a spin-off of classification. You don't have just only two classes, you have a zero and a one class.
I'm not sure what you're trying to ask, really.
You want to clarify your question, or maybe we deal with it afterwards?
Well, I just mean because the classification could be, be either just only binary labels, positive or negative or something, or could be more complex. So
That's actually been done, and it's built into all the classification algorithms that I've shown. So they can take continuous values, they can take discrete values. There are data preparation methods that can convert continuous variables into discrete variables.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.